Whether it is finding that one song whose beat you can't get out of your head, or discovering the truth behind those mysteries, Reddit has been regarded as one of the best tools for discovering the real truth behind something. The NBA is not far away from the reach of this tool, as one Reddit user found out some of the most secret and craziest things in the NBA, promoting the management to immediately organize a meeting to discuss these things. So what was that secret? Well, let's find it in today's video. Make sure to watch this video till the end. Over the past few months, Jaren Jackson Jr. has become a popular pick for the award of Defensive Player of the Year. In fact, he had become one of the top favorites to win the award at every major sportsbook, with the odds for him to win the award at some sportsbooks falling below -200. Afterward, there was a lengthy post that gained traction on Reddit. Memphis Grizzlies scorekeeper posted fraudulent numbers, with the title of the thread started by user U80Massive6666. According to the post itself, Jackson's block and steal numbers were artificially inflated by the scorekeeper working the Grizzlies' home games, which in turn contributed to Jackson's Defensive Player of the Year campaign. It was not long after that Caesars Sportsbook removed the odds for Defensive Player of the Year from their board. There are some other books that left the odds up and saw a significant shift in favor of other candidates. A report by The Athletic's Fred Katz claims that the post is making its way around the league now, not just the internet. And as for their part, the Memphis Grizzlies have been there for Jackson throughout his career. In his response to the criticism, Grizzlies head coach Taylor Jenkins called it foolish following Sunday's 112-100 win over the Indiana Pacers. JJ is one of the best defensive players in the game. So glad to have him on our team. Jackson finished the game with 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 blocks. There's no doubt that citizen journalism is nothing new to the NBA. Initially, the scandal that ultimately led to the resignation of former Philadelphia 76ers general manager Brian Colangelo was uncovered by a Twitter user who urged the Ringer's Ben Dietrich to launch an investigation into the matter. However, this is something completely different from what we've seen before. It is not uncommon for fans to use social media to complain about how players are treated, but as Katz reported, the league is at least monitoring this one, and for a good reason as well. So let's take a look at one of the most bizarre controversies in recent NBA history and understand why such a seemingly minor disparity in a couple of statistical columns can have such an enormous impact on the future of the sport. So, what's the allegation? Well, the central thesis of the post is that Jackson is being unfairly awarded extra blocks and steals by the Grizzlies scorekeeper when he plays at home. In 16 home games, Jackson has accumulated 66 blocks and 22 steals. It is worth noting that in 17 road games, Jackson has blocked 37 shots and racked up only 12 steals. Specifically, the writer of the post cited 7 plays in which he believed Jackson was unfairly awarded either a block or a steal during the game. During the play, Zion Williamson appeared to lose the ball when he drove into traffic and didn't go up for a shot without even looking at the ball. Jackson was awarded a block. In each of the 7 clips, Jackson is alleged to have received unfair credit for a play that he did not make. There was a statement released by Tim Frank, the NBA's Senior Vice President of Communications, in which he denied the allegations and explained the league's procedure for dealing with such issues. The statement read, "In order to ensure the integrity of our game statistics, auditors, independent of the statisticians on site, review all plays and stats decisions in real time during NBA games. If changes are necessary, they are made at that time or following a post-game review. All of the plays questioned in the post on Memphis games were scored consistently within the rules set forth by the NBA Statisticians Manual." It should be noted that NBA scorekeepers are not employees of the league. Rather, teams are responsible for providing their own scorekeepers in their home arenas. According to Katz, the Grizzlies are using the same scorekeeper that they used last year, and that will continue into this season as well. Historically, it has been a fairly common and accepted practice for home arenas to pad their stats. It is most frequently manifested in terms of assists, which by far are the hardest stats to track on a regular basis. In the traditional sense of the word, an assist is a pass that directly leads to the creation of a shot. But home scorekeepers tend to be more generous towards their own passers than their road counterparts. Currently, home teams are assisting on averaging 25.3 buckets per game, whereas road teams are assisting on an average of 24.6 buckets per game. As a whole, this gap is relatively small when compared to the league's average. In fact, in some cases, it can manifest in a more aggressive manner when it comes to individual players. At this moment, it is no surprise that James Harden is the team's assist leader in this season, as he is averaging 11.5 assists at home and 10.6 on the road. Assists, on the other hand, are more abstract in nature than blocks and steals, and the gap we're talking about, especially in relation to blocks, is significant. All this sounds cool, right? But what about the other numbers? As part of his coverage of Jackson's blocks, the Ringer's Kevin O'Connor posted a thread. After watching all 66 of them in slow motion, he found that only 3 of them had been ruled incorrectly, in his opinion. Overall, the thread makes a solid argument against the relevance of any alleged stat padding in Memphis as a whole. In addition, it is important to note that not all statistics are tracked by the official scorekeeper. As of 2016, the NBA started tracking what it refers to as hustle statistics on NBA.com for the first time. According to ESPN's Zach Lowe, the players were tracked out of the NBA's Secaucus Replay Center by NBA-trained personnel after they had left. Taking a closer look at the numbers, we can see that Jackson has had a greater difference in his performance at home than on the road. For example, Jackson is averaging 11.9 contested shots per game, while he's also deflecting 1.9 shots per game from Memphis. On the other hand, he averages a contested shots per game of 10 and 1.3 deflections per game everywhere else. This would support the idea that Jackson is merely a better defender at home than he is on the road. Even if Jackson doesn't receive credit for many raw blocks, he receives a strong candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. The Grizzlies still have the best defense in the NBA. On November 15th, when he made his season debut, they were ranked 20th. Without him, the defense is 8 points worse per 100 possessions. Since Jackson's debut, the Grizzlies have only allowed opponents to make 60% of their shots in the restricted area. Since then, the gap between them and second-place Brooklyn, 62.5%, is larger than the gap between Brooklyn and seventh-place Oklahoma City, 64.6%. Essentially, Jackson has much more to offer than just the number of shots he blocks to make him the NBA's best rim protector this season. But in general, why does any of this matter? Well, to the common fan, it doesn't. A scorekeeper doesn't decide a game's outcome by how many blocks he awards each player. However, the NBA isn't just concerned with the game's outcome financially. The NBA announced in 2021 that FanDuel and DraftKings would be its official sports betting partners. Caesars runs a sportbook in Capital One Arena, home of the Wizards, in Washington. FanDuel has one in Chicago's United Center, where the Bulls play. Sports betting isn't just adjacent to leagues anymore, it's an official partnership, and sports betting is all about precision. Then, there are daily fantasy games. Suppose you lose a $1 million contest because the winner has Jackson and gets an extra block. The stakes are lower on season-long fantasy, but the theoretical consequences would be similar. Whatever the case, these disparities call into question the legitimacy of the NBA as a whole. At the least, posts like these should make the NBA think about standardizing scorekeeping. If home scorekeepers are assigning numbers unfairly, it might be worth hiring its own scorekeepers rather than outsourcing that responsibility. What do you think? Tell us in the comments. And that's it for today's video. We hope you liked the video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, and for more such videos, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to press that bell icon. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.